So we're going to start by really laying the foundations. So 𝗟𝗲 and I are going to be talking about how a visual brand identity lays a particular foundation and how the narrative adds to that as well. So take it away again, 𝗟𝗲. I'm really excited to listen to this.
So let's maybe set some base terms first. So,
Yes.
so branding per se, it's not just logo, it's not anything that comes to your mind right away. It's more about what people think when they think about your business. What do they say behind your back? How do they recommend you? What sort of words they choose to describe you or what you do, or all those things that you are putting out there and how it's being received. That's your brand. The visual brand is the visual element of that. So that includes the way you're dressed, who you're seen with, how you're being seen, where are you being seen, what's the quality of the medium that people see you in. So all the visual elements put together, and it includes a lot of those categories that we may talk about. So in the narrative sense, I think apart from the medium people see you and the quality of the medium, so a selfie as opposed to professional production, right? That's a big difference there in positioning. But then who are you being seen with? Are you being seen with someone people respect in the industry, like each other, right? Like what you're doing right now? Or if they see you in your bathroom or living room with cat running behind you, that's a different environment that influences how people receive everything.
Absolutely, and as you alluded to, the story that creates. And what can be interesting as well that people need to try to remember is doing a selfie, although I highly do not recommend it, think about what story that tells people, how they'll, as you said, interpret it. Are you wanting to build more rapport, but in a very casual sense? I mean, is that your industry? But as I've discovered with many of my clients, it doesn't necessarily build rapport. Doing selfies, and people have a lot of respect for people, and they can tell the production quality. Our clients are highly intelligent people who are very experienced throughout their careers, and their clients really respect when they put that additional effort in, when they really mold and sculpt that story and that visual identity, and people will flock to that. Birds of a feather flock together, as they say. So, where I come into the piece as well is I incorporate, of course, a visual identity, which I am developing, as we all do, as it evolves, which will be a fascinating thing to speak about as well, as identities evolve, visual and narrative. And then what I decide to do, of course, very collaboratively, is I actually have discussions with my clients and for my own business with myself and other business advisors, and we talk about how a narrative can support the image. So our foundation actually starts with an image, which is very interesting when my core business is words, and it says a lot about the current market and climate, as we talked about before. Yeah. So I start with the foundation of an image, or an image that may not currently exist, but it may exist eventually. And then from there I think, okay, what words would beautifully support this and elevate it? How could this be communicated even more clearly, concisely, and with more clarity with the addition of words? And sometimes as well, it's about knowing what not to include. Sometimes minimal words are actually the way to go, rather than adding words for the sake of it. Particularly, as you said before, with jingles and brand logos and different catchphrases. When you talk too much, have too many words, it dilutes your message. So I'd be curious to hear from your perspective, with diluting messages and having that really crisp brand image and identity, how are some ways that people can go about achieving this visually, to have that crisp, clear messaging?
It's all about curation, I think. But it's interesting when you said that you start with an image and then add work around to create words around it. Yes. I actually go from the other way around. Before I create an image, I extract all the information, all the words from my clients, just to understand who they want to appeal to, what they want to represent with themselves, where they want to be positioned in their clients' eyes, how are they different from everyone else in their industry, and all these things. I have to understand those things, and my role is to translate their words into visual language that then is received by the recipients who their audience is. I'm not even saying clients, audience in general. And so that's very interesting that we start from completely opposite ways, but I think it's a circle of life. So then the image builds on the words, and then the words upgrade, and it evolves, co-evolves together.
Yes, and it's really that interplay and that discussion that the image and the words have. And yes, words and images can have discussions as well, and how therefore that's interpreted by people. And I think that real hybrid approach is very important. I'll give everyone a little bit of an insight, and of course yourself, into why I start with an image. I have a fine arts background, so I am trained in the fine arts, and for me, I'm a highly visual person. I always have been. So my point of inspiration is usually an image, whether it's one I'm imagining, as I mentioned, one that's in my frame of reference because I've seen it at a museum, or I've seen someone's fashion inspired me, or I've been to a presentation of a professional speaker and thought, fantastic, and the image of them speaking then creates inspiration for other projects. Yeah. So these images are varied, and then the words tend to flow with that naturally. So that's how I form that very solid foundation. So as we know, from foundations, we like to grow. And moving forward from that, it's really interesting to be able to direct and layer our approaches so that our clients can really see, and their audience, as you mentioned, can really see the full breadth of what they can anticipate and get excited. Because ultimately that's what we're trying to do, excite the people we're working with and delight.
Thank you for joining us to uplevel your business, skills, and knowledge. Click the links below and subscribe to the Clarified Solutions social media platforms to receive regular updates. Weekly resources will be provided, along with gifts, to assist you in your journey in upleveling your business expertise and confidence. We look forward to continuing to support you in your journey as you become the leaders and the business experts you wish to be.